Let me take it.
Go do it. Yeah, I have the clip. Just so
yes, we're going to start out with the clip. This is a clip. You've heard it. You've already heard it, but it's fun. But it is very important for the breakdown I'm about to get you. So this is Mary Miller at a Trump rally responding to the Roe versus Wade decision and makes a little whoopsie doodies.
President Trump, on behalf of all the MAGA patriots in America, I want to thank you for the historic victory for white life in the Supreme Court yesterday.
No. Oops. Victory for white life.
Victory for white life.
Do you want to hear?
Daisies.
Do you want to hear the little thing they got on CBS?
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
Campaign says she misspoke and stumbled while trying to say right to life instead of her white life. Her campaign also adding Miller has the most pro-life voting record in Congress. Congresswoman Miller is facing a high-stakes primary race tomorrow against another incumbent Republican, Rodney Davis. After this weekend's controversy, Davis said Miller's comments were part of a pattern of disturbing behavior and referenced a situation last year when Miller made an approving reference to Hitler. She later apologized for that reference.
Oh, they just leave it there, don't they?
They don't say you. They don't tell you what that reference was. So I had to dig it up, and
I had forgotten about this.
Yeah.
But yes.
So real quick, New York Post Rep. Mary Miller says Hitler was right on one thing during Washington D.C. rally. So she's kind of walking around this rally and talking to people, and she's speaking to Moms for America. Somebody's videotaping, and here's the quote. Each generation has the responsibility to teach and train the next generation. Video shows Miller saying, quote, if we win a few elections, we're still going to be losing unless we win the hearts and minds of our children. This is a battle. Hitler was right on one thing. He said, whoever has the youth has the future.
This is not a good look.
No, you're not going to get out of that one, lady.
You just can't say that. And honestly, you could make a case for we get what she's saying, but
it's the same for the other side.
Why even bring Hitler up in that sense? Why was Hitler even on your mind? You could just say we need to, get the minds of our children on our side. I'm sure other people have said that. You didn't need to quote Hitler there.
Yeah.
So, and that's kind of the thing with this, it's a whoopsie doodles. And I do believe that it was on the teleprompter, the right to life, not white life. But it is weird. And who knows, people have postulated about the Freudian slip and stuff like that.
Sure, but
I don't know the lady.
It's such a perfect thing because it's actually a Trump rally. Trump's standing right behind her.
Perfect. He's standing there with his little smile, his kind of funny Trump smile, his little... I think it's hilarious. He does this face where he does this little smug little thing and he kind of looks around a lot. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm talking about? And he kind of moves around, kind of jerks around like a bird a little bit. And he can't move his neck very well. So kind of his whole body does it. He's got this funny smile and he kind of just looking around with his body jerking back and forth. And this lady talking about thank you for this.
And I love just for
our white lives.
The visuals here when she says it, there's because you got the crowd behind her, and there's a black couple over the right shoulder of Mary Miller, and when she says that, they're cheering. Yay!
Oh no. Anyways, very unfortunate, but my goodness, the left has done a great job of latching onto this and spreading it around. Again, going back to the narrative crafting element of this whole thing. Yep. Now, I want to give a brief timeline of what's been going on with the Supreme Court. Now, listeners of this show will remember at the end of 2021, I was in some sort of, I was gobsmacked with all the weird little theatrical drama going on within the interpersonal drama within the Supreme Court. One justice didn't wear a mask and the other one was mad at him, but wasn't really mad at him. But then, there's this theater being scripted in the media that even the sort of rival justices were trying to tell everybody it wasn't true. And we could tell, and we asked for a Supreme Court jingle. in 2021, we still don't have it. And here we are. The drama continues. And this, I believe, is what I think I almost, if I didn't put it in the Red Book, I should have. And I'm sure we had a little back and forth about whether I should or not on the episode. But the point is, the last 4 days have been outstanding for conservatives in the Supreme Court. Just a little rundown. This all happened in the past 3 or 4 days. The concealed carry Supreme Court decision in New York that set off the gun control madness and in all liberal states, but New York especially. We had Kathy Hochul having basically a emotional breakdown in public. Of course, we have Roe v. Wade, which is obviously have to say anything more about that. And then just yesterday, another Supreme Court decision rocked the headlines. The New York Times is reporting here, Supreme Court sides with coach over prayers on 50-yard line. I'm not going to read it. I'll give you the rundown. There's this coach, I believe a high school football coach.
And he's a Kennedy.
Yes.
Well, I don't know if he's a Kennedy, but his name is Joseph
Kennedy is his name. And he's been doing this thing forever where he, after every game, he goes and he prays on the 50-yard line. And students don't have to go with him, but a lot of them do. And it's kind of a team building thing, and they go pray on the 50-yard line after every game. In 2015, there were some complaints about it, and they told him that he can't do that. And they've kind of been going back and forth fighting this case ever since. Well, just yesterday, the Supreme Court ruled that he's allowed to go pray on the 50-yard line after a game, which has everybody all up in arms. Well, not everybody, obviously. This is a big, another big win.
Honestly, I'm surprised California is still in drought, to be 100% honest.
From all these liberal
tears.
These
liberal tears should end the California drought, but I still see signs that say, don't water your plants.
So, there's more details to it, but that's the basic thing. The Supreme Court said, hey, yeah, this guy can go pray on the 50-yard line if he wants. He's not making students doing it. He's not leading like a public prayer. It's not part of the menu. What's the menu? The itinerary. It's not part of the itinerary.
Right, just
it's
a little
not like everybody,
ritual or just
his own little ritual. And students can do it if they want, but they don't have to. And oh my gosh, has this set a fire in the hearts and set a flood on the eyeballs of liberals all over the country. But it's all happened in quick succession. I mean, and it hits every like inflammatory subject matter. You've got gun control, boom. You've got abortion, boom. You've got prayer in school, religion in school, nuclear bombs going off in the liberal press and the liberal political scene. Oh, and can you believe it? It's on an election year, Gons. This only deepened my belief that I think that there are smoky back rooms, at least in the back office of the Democratic Party. I could see this being a genius machination because Democrats don't care. They don't want to vote. They don't like Biden. They barely like AOC. The Democrat voting base is so uninterested in what the Democrats have to offer them that the Democrats have no option but to basically set off these crazy political false flags where it's not just like, ooh, the Republicans will win if you don't vote for us. It is full on. The Christians are turning this country into a theocracy. We are no longer a democracy. And this is the missing piece. The missing piece is that they've been screaming and crying about how our democracy is in danger. Democracy is in danger. Trump is going to kill our democracy. Democracy.
Self-fulfilling prophecy, especially if they start hitting the big nuke buttons like they did.
Even Democratic voters are like, okay, what are you talking about? Like, the democracy is not going to go away. What in the world are you guys even saying? And nobody had an answer. They're just saying the words, Republicans are destroying our democracy without telling us exactly what they mean by it. And this is it. This is the plan. The plan is they're destroying our democracy and turning it into a theocracy, which is a country ruled by the prevailing religion. Theocracy is the problem. Theocracy is the danger. Democracy will go away and theocracy will replace it. This was the missing piece for the entire, goodness gracious, at least year since January 6th, where our democracy is in peril has been the rallying cry. And now they have it. It's a theocracy because in 4 days, those dang conservatives put their biblical, the biblical radicalness into the law of the land. Now, it's not law of the land. Supreme Court does not make laws, but most people don't know that, so they can just keep saying it. You got the gun thing, you got abortion, and now you got prayer in schools. Ooh, danger. And this is reflected by TheGuardian.com. The headline, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez calls the Supreme Court justices to be impeached. Impeachment. Oh, guns. We're going to do another impeachment. Political pressure is mounting on Joe Biden to take more action to protect abortion rights across the U.S. as firebrand New York Congresswoman AOC called for Supreme Court justices to be impeached for misleading statements about their views on Roe v. Wade. And this is where she gets them. Ocasio-Cortez remarks took aim at Justices Brett Kavanaugh and Neil Gorsuch. Both were appointed by former President Donald Trump. Ooh, that's not good. And had signaled that they would not reverse the Supreme Court's landmark 1973 decision in Roe v. Wade during confirmation hearings, as well as in meetings with senators. So her whole case here for impeachment is, hey, look, these guys lied during their confirmation hearings.
Confirmation, yeah.
Right. They lied. They said they were going to do one thing and they did the exact opposite. And that I don't know literally anything about Supreme Court impeachments. I didn't even know it was possible. So I've got some reading to do. But
it is possible.
There's actually, I obviously think it is possible. I just had never considered it before. I think it is. There is actually something here, especially because Biden since then has come out and stated that he's not going to pack the courts and not get rid of the filibuster, and still saying these things that Democrats hate for him to say. And so impeachment may be the only way for them to move forward with this.
Yeah, it says here, excuse me, House members can impeach a judge with a simple majority vote, but to be removed from office, a justice would need to be convicted by a 2/3 majority of the Senate.
Yeah, so it's the same process. Same process for the president.
It's going to be very difficult to do that, especially with the red wave that we're all riding right now. So
well, and who knows? I think the red wave might be in danger now.
It's possible. Yeah, actually, to your point about this kind of I don't know, like a psyop, the false flag of the Supreme Court giving the conservatives what they've been fighting for so long as a way to activate the other side of the aisle, and the sort of just the pendulum that we've been talking about swinging back and forth. Yeah. To your point, I think there's going to be a lot of bait for conservatives, people like us, people that, lean conservative and spiritual belief and Christians especially. And I think on one hand, there are legit concerns. On the other hand, there is sensationalism that takes place. So I think it'll be important for us to be very vigilant in what we consume.
I think that is a huge part of it. There's the political part of this. There's the, all the big meta things going on. There's the elections, there's stuff like that. But on a personal level, for conservatives and especially for Christians, you got to know the the liberal attitude towards Christianity is no longer just like they're crazy or they're mean or judgmental or any number of things that, that they sort of generally hold about Christians. Now it's literally like they are the threat to democracy. Mm-hmm. Christians who think that the law should align with the Bible are the threat to democracy. And it's funny, of course, because logically, nothing has changed outside the system. It's just the system working. Mm-hmm. And the system is going in a different direction than they prefer, but nothing is happening outside of the system right now. Yeah. This is democracy working. However, they don't see it that way because they disagree with what's going on. And so, y'all can manage your own relationships with your people, but keep in mind that there is a narrative being crafted, a worldview, a reality, a little r reality being conjured up by the wizards of the mainstream corporate media. And that reality is being adopted. Perhaps it is an infection. Perhaps it is an illusion, whatever it is. Many of your liberal friends and family are going to be under the spell of this new little r reality that is being crafted for them. And you just need to keep that in mind when having conversations, when, whatever, just in everything. Yeah. And I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just saying, it's good to keep in mind that they see you as the literal enemy to democracy. And the idea being that you, a dear Christian, want to replace our democracy with a theocracy. And it is, I do fear just a little bit that we have not seen the end of this, or even the pitch of the squeals of how intense this reality will sort of take root in people's minds. Isn't
it interesting that Republicans have been saying that the liberal left and the progressives are bringing in communism, authoritarianism, and they're destroying the country? And now the liberal Democrats are saying the conservatives are bringing in their theocracy and they're destroying the country. And guess what?
Fascism.
Guess what? We're both destroying the country. Not we, but just both parties are destroying the country by.
Well, just like Sarah Cobb said in that Al Jazeera paper, it is the narrative itself that creates the conditions that destroys the country. Yeah. It is not, without that narrative being created and installed in the operating system of the culture, it wouldn't happen. But it is simply the fact that the narrative is created, the wizards have conjured the illusion and have laid it over the eyes of the country on both sides, by the way. Yep. The libs have their version, which is the theocracy, and the conservatives have their version, which is the communism and things like that.
Or straight up Satanism.
Power. This girl must be practicing witchcraft.
Just real quick, just to your point here.
No, you're killing it. Do it.
CBN News, the Christian perspective. This is probably one of the biggest, one of the biggest, right? Mainstream, you can call Christian outlets.
It's the closest thing to a mainstream Christian outlet. Sure. Yeah.
Okay. And the headline here: Evil Row reaction. Witches, warlocks attack Christians with guttural growls, demonic curses, Satanists to create own abortion facilities.
Oh no.
And I mean, their header looks like I don't know. They should have done something a little bit more, because they just straight up use the Satanic Temple logo with the word Satanic Temple on there and stuff. It's like, okay, maybe. Yeah. All right. Anyway,
a little on the nose, but okay.
The cadre of witches, Satanists, and devil worshippers have crept out of the darkness to display their rage over the Supreme Court's ruling to overturn Roe v. Wade. Some of these evil activists have been summoning demonic forces, engaging in spiritual attacks and verbal assault against pro-life advocates and Christians outside the High Court as they have prayed for peace for the nation. Matt Staver, founder and chairman at the Liberty Council, a nonprofit Christian religious right law firm, said the witch-like protesters attempted to scare members from his DC office, and they held a prayer vigil outside the Supreme Court. Quote, black-robed men and women began arriving on the scene, screaming obscenities over the prayers, Staver said. Quote, a pro-abortion demonstrator brought a wagon carrying a large boombox, blaring satanic music and noise. What are we, 1980?
Yeah.
A woman walked right up to our podium and stood next to the pro-life speaker. Staver continued, quote, every time the pro-life speaker spoke, the woman would scream unmentionable curses into the megaphone pointed at the podium microphone. The pro-abortion crowd began cursing the justices and people praying and vehemently cursing God. You know, all this said, it doesn't seem like it came to any blows, you know? So on one hand, I'm like, yeah, I mean, that's part of the thing, right? With this country,
you can free speech.
You can kind of get out there and do your thing and say your piece. So on one hand, it's kind of like, all right, yeah, this is what this country sort of represents. But then also, you know, there's no pictures here. I don't have any video. Maybe there was a video report or something like that. Kind of hard to really.
Oh, you're not seeing any evidence of the thing.
Yeah, I didn't dig too
social
hard.
Posts or no embedded tweets or anything.
Nothing. Well, let's see. Let me see. There's a hyperlink to Staver said. It looks like just another article about this whole thing. But yeah, there's not a whole lot, which leads me to believe that maybe a little. I agree that there's probably some counter protest, especially, you know, they see people praying and, you know, it brings out, but a lot of times, you know, they're not like hardcore theistic Satanists walking. They do it as a mocking thing, you know, wearing the black robe.
I'll give the free speech advocates credit just to adequately distinguish and describe what this is. And because it is a free speech issue, the entire organization is based around free speech stuff. And you know what? There's going to be some, you know, believers out there who will think that I'm defending Satanists, and I'm just telling you the facts of the matter, which is the Satanic Temple does not believe in a literal Satan. It is sort of, at least in their words, they describe themselves as an art project and a First Amendment free speech sort of activism organization.
Right.
And that is what they do. They do these types of things, and they do lots of other things, but it's all centered around things that they can defend with First Amendment free speech rules. I mean, it's the Constitution, and it's all, you know, it's their point. The whole point of their existence is to make you mad, Christian.
Right.
And so you take them to court. They want you to take them to court so that they can use First Amendment protections to embarrass you and to make a point about, you know, free speech. And what they don't like most of all is the sort of default, what they see as American culture being sort of default Christian, which is hilarious because Christians don't think that either.
Yeah.
But it's just, that is just what it is. These particular people do not believe in a literal Satan, but they certainly use it to an effect.
I will say that, yes, they are not openly theistic Satanists. However, if you're looking at the spiritual principality behind perhaps their worldview and their cosmology, you can certainly say that it's one of the fallen spirits that they're following there.
In a supernatural worldview, that does not make what they're doing any less satanic or less spiritual.
Right. Again, we have to be very careful about the words.
Me, dear Christian.
Yeah, no, I think you're doing okay.
Me. I just want to correctly describe. I don't want to straw man these people.
Sure. Yep. There's a lot of layers to this. I want to talk about the Warlock real quick before we wrap this.
Do your thing. Talk about the
quote,
Warlock.
This is Staver again. Staver reports a man dressed like a warlock targeted senior women who were praying on the steps of the Supreme Court. Quote, the warlock would crowd one woman at a time, making the sign of Satan over each woman's head. Is that the devil horns?
Probably the rock and roll devil horn thing.
The Longhorn, the Texas Longhorns.
Aleister Crowley.
As he made the signs, as he made the sign, guttural growls in a language our staff could not understand issued from his throat as he spat his demonic curses over the women. One by one, he tried to corner and curse them, Staver said. And
very colorful language.
Yeah. Again, this is, I don't doubt that this happened, but I'm more curious about, and obviously if you're crowding people and getting in their faces, you probably shouldn't be getting in the faces of old women trying to prey on.
Especially when there's especially when there's an upper respiratory disease floating around.
Yeah. Were they all wearing masks? What about that, huh? Okay. Well, anyway,
were they?
Probably not. I don't know. Yes, they were all wearing their Satan masks.
Yes, they're very safe. They were wearing their N95s with a pentagram on the front.
Yeah. So anyway, there you go. Our whole little journey here, the Supreme Court triggering what seems to be the chaos that is election year 2022.
Well, yeah. And I think something to note with this outlet that you're reading is that this theocratic sort of philosophical debate is coming from both sides as well.
Well, this is confirming when the Democrat, liberal, whatever, when they read this, they'll be like, there you go. This is this is what they want. They want to burn witches again. The whole deal.
When the Satanic Temple inevitably finds the link to this article and they share it around on their newsletter.
Oh, gosh.
And things like that, So, yeah, it really is. And I think it's an interesting parallel how the Putin has been describing and framing his war in Ukraine and the reaction from the West as a literal religious war. The West against the Eastern Orthodox Church and Christianity, the real Christianity as they see it, and the effectiveness of the same strategy on this side of the pond,
right? Being,
hey, if there is a culture war, you make it a culture holy war, and boom, the stakes are even higher.
How can the West represent properly anything if there's no unity? If and it's very easy for in America.
Oh, you mean how good it is? How good this split is for Putin and for probably the East in general.
Yeah, because inevitably what they're probably going to do is, this is nothing revolutionary or groundbreaking or anything like that. They've been doing the Russia-Trump thing forever, but it makes sense that eventually, they're going to tie all Republicans as part of wanting the theocracy, and thus they are one with Putin, and they should just all move to Russia. Get out of here, because that whole thing. So I don't know. It goes both ways, but it's the chaos is palpable and intentional. And we do this 3 times a week, sometimes 4, and we keep track. We keep our finger on the pulse of the world, and we notice when people start freaking out. Because we're kind of always watching things go on.
When there's a shift.
So there's a shift in sentiment.
Really, if nothing else, I'm grateful to God at the sensitivity that doing this show has given us to noticing when important shifts happen, even if they may just seem like a disjointed series of news articles. So there you go. All sorts of fun stuff going on, folks. And it's going to continue. It's going to get more intense. So keep an eye out for it, and be aware. Be aware of little traps here and there, little social traps that may be laid for you, either in a spiritual sense or a political sense or whatever, trying to lure you into this literally crafted situation that is useful literally only for the lizard people who are playing a much bigger game than whatever is happening right in front of you.